Well, howdy, Clues by Sam's fans. Pete back with another episode of a difficult Clues by Sam puzzle. So let's go ahead and get started. This one gave me a bit of fits here. Alrighty, it's March 1st, difficulty evil. Okay, exactly two innocents in column Z are neighboring Xenia. And there's only two, column C, and they are both innocent. All right, odd number of innocents, column D are Laura's neighbors. Okay, well, these are her neighbors in column D. There's exactly four innocents in column D. Okay, so she has an odd number. That means there can be one or three. If there's only one, there has to be two criminals. But there's four out of the five are innocent, so all three have to be innocent. Alrighty, and that means that the criminal has to be one of these two. Okay, and there are more innocents. Let's see, exactly two. This is done. There are exactly four innocents. We'll mark this for later. Odd number of innocents in Laura's neighbors. That one's done. Okay, there are more innocents in column A than C. Well, that's not enough information yet. We'll mark that, keep that around. Only one of the two criminals neighboring Hazel is in row 1. Okay, so one of these is a criminal. And then exactly one innocent below Brian is neighboring Flora. So there's Flora, there's Brian. So one of these is innocent. And we know that Hazel has a total of two criminals. So there's one criminal here, one criminal here. Laura's also Hazel's neighbor, so Laura's got to be innocent. All right, row 2 is the only row with exactly two criminals. All right, well, we know there's one criminal in here, and this is not row 2, so Anna, the cop, has to be innocent. There are more criminals in column B than column D. All right, this is going to be a key one, so we'll look for that again. All right, so now we know that row 2 is the only one with two criminals. So we know out of these three, there are two criminals. So let's see what we can find out here. Let's clear all the tags. We're going to look at these two because this is the binary pair here. So let's clear this, clear all the tags, and we'll say, well, Gabe could be innocent, which would make Katie criminal. Okay? If Gabe is innocent, then both Hazel and Flora have to be criminals to give us two criminals. Now we know that there are more criminals in B than D. And in D, we know that there's only one criminal. So there's got to be at least two criminals in B. And what else do we know? We also know that one of these three up here is a criminal. And we also know there are more innocents in A than in C. So right now, there are three innocents. So that would make all three of these innocent. And right off the bat, let's see, that would make that Derek would have to be the criminal. We know there's only one criminal up here, so these two must be innocent. And we know that there are more criminals in B than in D. And D, we know, has one criminal, so that would make Peter a criminal. Okay, so now let's look at the other option here. Let's make Gabe the criminal, which makes Katie innocent. Now, since this is the case, we could have one of these two is criminal and one is innocent. So let's start with Hazel as the innocent and Flora as the criminal. Okay, in this case, we know that, again, all three of these would have to be innocent because they have to have more. So let's make all three of these innocent. Okay, and now, oh, this should be criminal. Okay, now if that's the case, there's one criminal in this column, and there has to be more innocents in A, there's 4 innocents, than in B. So that means that Derek has to be innocent, and we know that column B has more than D, so we're working with the bottom tags here. So there has to be at least one criminal in here. So if it's up here, this one we don't know about. And this would be innocent. This would be criminal. All right, what do we have here? Now the problem is we don't have more innocence here than in C. Right? There's got to be more innocence in A than C. With the bottom tags, C has 5 innocents and A only has 4. So no, Hazel's going to have to be the criminal. And now we've got 5 innocents and 4 innocents over here. So that works. All right. And then this works because we still need to have more criminals over here. All right. So from this, we see that we've got Hazel's got double red, Irwin's got double red. These guys are not double red. And then we've got a bunch of greens down here. So Hazel is the one we seem to be focusing on. So let's go ahead and say Hazel's a criminal. All right. Oh, now we got another clue. All criminals in column B are connected. Okay, if Hazel is the criminal, then these two now have to be alternate, which they are. Okay. And let's see. All the criminals in B are connected. All right. So what we found out earlier was he was also double green. So let's get rid of him. Innocent, which makes this criminal, which makes this innocent because you can't have 2 criminals down here. All right, these are junk clues. Okay, only one person in a corner has exactly 1 criminal neighbor. All right, so this one has no criminal neighbor. This has potentially 1 or 2. This one has potentially 1, and if it's the top ones, that's okay. Regardless, Peter, this Olivia looks like it's double, so we'll go innocent here. And Peter here would be a single corner with a single criminal, so that can't be. It's got to be one of the top 2. All right, so what do we have left here? Okay, so both criminals in B are connected. Well, all criminals in B are connected. And we know that there's at least 2 criminals. There's no way to get all 3 to be criminal, I don't believe. Let's see, can all 3 be criminal? Let's clear the tags. No, because Hazel only has 2 criminals. So Hazel has 1 here and 1 here. So again, we'll go ahead and make Gabe the criminal, which then one of these 2 will make, well, let's do the top corner here. Innocent. No, I did that backwards. Let's make Gabe the criminal, and that means there has to be another one connected here. So if Derek is innocent, all right, right away we're in a in a pickle because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be okay. All right, and that would make it Derek is innocent, Brian's criminal, and that would make this one innocent. And let's see, this is 2 criminals, and we have 1 criminal over here, and there's more innocents in C. All right, so let's try the other option here. Let's go with green here. And we can't do this right off the bat because we already have an illegal case because we can't have our criminals connected. So the only option is to have this one has to be criminal. Okay, and if this one's criminal, then this one's innocent. And what do we know? We know that Katie has to be innocent because there's only 1 in here for Flora. All right, and that leaves us with these guys. And we know that B has to have more criminals than D. So B and Brian is the criminal. That makes Derek innocent. And the leftover one is innocent to give us more in A than C. And there we have it. Hope this helped.